Welcome back to my channel, The Scenic Route Traveler. If you're new here, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Scenic Route Traveler. My name is Erin and I have been traveling internationally for a decade and have been to 40 countries around the world. My aim as a traveler is to explore and discover the world's most beautiful places one scenic route at a time. Come along with me in today's video as I explore some of my favorite cities and countries each day in one epic week in Europe. And whether you're headed to one of these places yourself soon or looking to get inspiration for your next adventure, I hope you enjoy tagging along each day of my trip. So I'm currently in one of my favorite cities in the world, Paris. I'm here for the next probably 24 hours. I just got here a few hours ago. And my itinerary for the week is to go to Paris. Tomorrow evening I'll head to Split, Croatia, where I'll spend a few days. Then I'm doing a day trip to Bosnia and Herzegovina. And then I'm headed to Prague, where I studied abroad a few years ago and haven't been back since. So very excited to be back in Europe. The plan while I'm in Paris is to check out all of my favorite places and honestly just kind of walk around, especially for my first 24 hours here. I am looking forward to just kind of wandering around, taking photos, and being in my favorite place. It's also today 90 degrees Fahrenheit, so the combination of heat, a overnight flight that I didn't sleep on, and a little bit hungry is a lethal combination, but nevertheless, I'm very excited. The Eiffel Tower to watch the sunset. I walked around a little bit more earlier and got some lunch and then went back to my hotel to rest a little bit, kind of beat the heat for the rest of the afternoon. But now I'm back. Watch the sunset by the Eiffel Tower. One of my favorite things to do. Alright, so it's day 2 of my week in Europe. I'm spending most of my morning and afternoon just exploring and walking around Paris, eating good foods, seeing the sights. And then later this evening I have a flight to Split, Croatia, where I'm spending the next couple days there and seeing Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. Now I'm in the Luxembourg Garden. It's one of my favorites to walk around in. It has the famous green chairs that you usually see in photos. It's a pretty big park to come and stroll, get away from the hustle and bustle of Paris. So when you're in Paris, definitely come check out the Luxembourg Garden. If you only have a short amount of time in Paris, I recommend walking through the city. It's one of the best ways to just go around and see all the major sites. It's one of my personal favorite things to do when I'm there. I also like to mention a lot of the major sites you might want to see in Paris, like the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, the Louvre, the Tuileries Gardens. They're all near the Seine River, so strolling along this part of the city really allows you to see a lot in a short amount of time. However, if you're in Paris for more than a few days, really be sure to take your time. Stroll through the various arrondissements or museums. This is just my biggest recommendation for people who, like me, during my trip were only there for about 24 to 36 hours. So I've just spent the morning walking around Paris, seeing the sights, taking a bunch of photos. Now I just finished lunch right by the Eiffel Tower, and after this I'm gonna head back to my hotel and get my suitcase and head to the airport to go to Split, Croatia. Day 3 of my European adventure started a bit earlier today because I was doing a tour with a tour guide and a bus to Bosnia and Herzegovina. I figured it was going to be easier than me trying to get around to the different sites that I really wanted to see. So I'll put the link in the description box below because I really thought the tour and tour guide that I had was really great. Alright, so I am in Bosnia Herzegovina for the day. I'm doing a day trip from Split, Croatia, where I'm staying for the next few nights. And we are in a town that I'll put the name on the screen here so I don't butcher it. But we're also stopping at Mostar, which I've wanted to go to for a while now. And I'm very excited to be here. So come along as we go on a day trip to Bosnia Herzegovina. Just taking a hike up to the fort, just like I'm out of breath. If you're in Bosnia and Herzegovina and you've stopped in this town, I do highly recommend going to the top of the fortress. This is where you can get a really great view of the little town and then the valley itself. It's a little bit steep to get up there, but once you're up there, I promise it has really great views. So I am here in Mostar in Bosnia Herzegovina. We have been able to explore for the last couple of hours around the town, sat down for lunch, and now we're headed to a waterfall somewhere about an hour from Mostar. And earlier we were in another town that I'll put the name here because I don't want to butcher the name, but so far have loved coming to Bosnia Herzegovina. I'm now at the Kraljice waterfalls in Bosnia Herzegovina, and these are considered some of the prettiest waterfalls in the country, so I'm excited to see it. You can either hike down, walk down, or swim when you're at the bottom as well, and I've heard it is very refreshing. I'm in Split, Croatia, and I'm headed to Hvar Island for the day, where the goal is to find a mode of transportation to take me around the island, hopefully some sort of ATV or moped, and just kind of explore the island. If you're looking to get from Split to Hvar or any of the other islands, you'll just need to head over to the different ferries. There's a few different docks that you can take a ferry to different islands. It's pretty easy. I just bought my ticket on the spot coming to the ferry this morning for a 10 o'clock ferry, and then I bought my ticket to come back in a few hours. Alright, so I'm on Hvar Island in Croatia for the day, and I've just rented an ATV bike that I'm taking around the island to check out the different beaches and towns on the island. So I'm super stoked to be doing this and riding an ATV around the island. So let's go to some of the best beaches in Hvar Island. Stopped for lunch at a restaurant right by the water called Gago's restaurant. I'll add the link and location of where I stayed. Really good, really nice. And now I'm just gonna head back on my ATV and check out more of the island before I have to return it later in the day and catch my ferry back to Split. I very much recommend, if you're coming to Hvar Island, especially only for the day like I did, to rent a moped, ATV. They have cars. You can even rent a bike if you want. I think it's one of the best ways to check out to the different beaches, unless you're just going to go to one and then you can get a taxi, or I've seen bus stops. I'm now back in Hvar town. Dropped off my ATV. All went well. Highly recommend it if you're coming to Hvar. But now I'm going up to the viewpoint at the fortress to get a view of all of Hvar before I catch my ferry at 7 o'clock. Alright, so it's the next morning and I am checking out the old town of Split. I really haven't had the chance to do that during the day, just at night, walking around with my gelato. So the plan was to walk around Old Town, which I'm gonna do, but I was also gonna head up to this one viewpoint. We'll see if that happens. I got a later start to the day because it's been raining, still a little bit now, but I'm going to go have breakfast. And after that, I'm gonna head to the airport for my flight to Prague. And I'm gonna spend the rest of my day traveling and going to Prague, which I'm really excited about. I'm really glad I chose Split as the destination in Croatia that I went to. It was my first time going. I had been to Dubrovnik years before, but I really enjoyed exploring the city itself and then also being really centrally located to different really great day trips. I only had time to go to Hvar, but if I was there a few extra days, you can go see plenty of other islands and other cool smaller towns nearby. So after a few hours of traveling from Split to Prague, I had finally made it to my hotel with just a little bit of time to spare before the sunset, that I had time to get dinner. And then I headed to Charles Bridge, which in my opinion is one of the best places to see the sunset because you have the hill in the background as well as the Prague Castle, and all of it together with Charles Bridge is really beautiful. I am officially in Prague. I got here last night and took the evening to wander around, but this morning I'm here just past sunrise to get some photos. I'm on the Charles Bridge, and I have not been back here since I studied abroad in 2017 in college and had the absolute time of my life here. I love Prague. I have not been back since, so I'm excited to be here, even if it's just for 2 days to explore some of my old stomping grounds. Alright, so now we're near Náměstí in Prague. This is actually my old stomping grounds where I used to live. This is actually my old apartment that I used to live, so I was just coming by to check it out, check out the area. But there's also a really great park around here that has a winery and small vineyard in it as well. So if you are visiting Prague, I recommend checking out the different cafes. Prague has a really great cafe and coffee culture, so if you're interested in all of that, Prague is a really great place to come. I'll be checking out a few of my favorite places, hopefully today, that I used to frequent as a student at Charles University in Prague. I'm now in one of my favorite parks in Prague. It actually used to be the park nearest to my old apartment when I lived here, so I used to come here all the time for runs. There's also a vineyard in the middle of this park, which is in the middle of Prague, and you wouldn't expect it. I had the wine when I lived here before. It's fantastic. So if you're coming to Prague, I recommend coming to this park. It's not as well known by tourists. It's a little quieter. There's locals walking around. There's people in front of me playing football, so I recommend coming to this park and checking it out if you're in Prague. All right, so now I'm in front of the Žižkov Tower in Prague. It is considered one of Prague's uglier sights, but I mention it because it is a really great view from the top. You can pay to get a ticket to go to these towers up here. I believe there's also a restaurant at the top, so check it out and come up to this neighborhood. It's a really great area. There's some really great cafes around here, but that's why I mention it, because it's quite ugly, but it's cool view from the top and really great area. I'm now in Letna Park in Prague. This park is really great to be able to come and get a great view of the river. You can see Charles Bridge, some of the other great points throughout Prague, and you get a good vantage point of the rest of the city. And they also have a really great beer garden here, so I recommend coming to get Pilsner and checking out the view from this park. I'm now taking an evening stroll along the river, just looking at the sights before I head in for the night. Either side is beautiful to check out because you get to see both sides have buildings that are stunning to go see. So I recommend any time of the day to take a stroll along the river. It's my last morning in Prague. I'm just up a bit earlier so I can walk around the Prague castle before loads of other people come. That's something I do like to tell people, is to get up early at least one morning to go to the Charles Bridge, where the Prague castle is, Old Town Square, just so you can be able to have a few minutes of peace and quiet. This is usually swarmed with tourists. Prague castle is right behind me, but it is about 7:30 in the morning, so I am one of the few people here. My plan is to walk around the Prague castle area and neighborhood, check out some of the parks for the next couple hours, and then I have to head back to the airport, so just enjoying my last few minutes in Prague. So I'm in front of Sacré-Cœur. I came up to the metro from where I'm staying near Počitelj, and I got off and walked all the way up the stairs to the Sacré-Cœur to check it out. I'm also here to check out the area around Sacré-Cœur. It's really beautiful and a fun place to explore. I do recommend, it gets pretty busy around here, so just be kind of aware of your surroundings and your belongings. But other than that, it's a really cool area to come check out in Paris. My last morning in Paris. I'm spending the next couple of hours exploring more of what I have or haven't seen before I have to head to the airport.
And that's a wrap on my latest European travel blog. Check out my travel blog post with more details about visiting each of these places in the description box below. You can find more of my other travel blog posts on my website, The Scenic Route Traveler. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more travel videos. Thanks for watching and happy travels.